Hello humans, 𝐋𝐢𝐬𝐬 here with another Minecraft video from the SMP. Oh my gods, that is so bright, we better go down. Woohoo! Alright, that's a bit better, it was hurting my eyes. By the way, look what I found out the other day, I can scroll up and down with this zoom. I had no idea I could do that. I normally record like this, but to be honest, it's a bit far away from my character. But then if I zoom in, now it's a bit too close for my liking. I think this is the perfect distance. Yeah, I like it. Or maybe I could do the intro like this, all close and personal. Go check out my new Ko-fi page if you want to support the channel. Go do it, link in the description. Oh gods, now it looks like I'm punching you in the face instead of punching the camera. And now we are back to the blindness bright. I really need some help tweaking out my skin. This tone looks fine, I like this color, except for the texturing which could be better. But then I face the sun and it's back to blindness. It's way too overexposed. Normal tone. Blindness tone. Normal tone. Blindness tone. I tell you what, let's go somewhere else where there are no 1,000 chickies doing the loud poco. Geez, that was loud. I need to get myself the muffler mod again. Anyway, welcome to the Batsy Mines of Batsylvania, from the archipelago of evil. Here is where we're going to spend most of the episode, expanding the mines and automating some stones and ores. It's going to be a lot to tackle, so I might end up splitting this into 2 episodes, depending on how long this gets. Automating all the blocks isn't too complicated, but it does take a while. Oh, I almost forgot, I also set up my cobble generator. Well, to be fair, it's not like there was a lot to set up. When I made the mines, I already added my own schematic, and placed the lava, I was just missing the water for it. Oh right, I did remove this funnel too. Ended up changing how I wanted the mines to work, and simply added those chests as the input for the ore processing section, so the funnel wasn't necessary anymore. Something that I need to figure out is how exactly I want to lay out things, because this vault is a bit in an awkward position. Originally I was going to use it as the main buffer, to distribute everything from the mines, into the ore processing area. That is why it had that funnel in there. But then I connected this cobble generator in here because I thought this corner would be perfect for it. Actually, I haven't tested this thing yet, let's see how it does. It should take a second to synchronize the cycles properly, but the rest should be working perfectly. Thankfully, this is one of those schematics that barely gets any random bugs. I really hate sharing schematics with tanks, vaults, and other things that bug and glitch out 99% of the time, it's such a hassle to troubleshoot. Though to be fair, it does bring many comments to my videos and the engagement goes up, so it's not all that bad. We want to let it run until no cobblestone gets generated, the speed of the cart is constant, and the stone doesn't spawn with any delay. It might sound rather inconvenient to do this every time we turn it on, but it normally takes a minute or 2, and after that, the cycles will make the rates become a lot better. It's all about efficiency. Now yes, it's fully synchronized, that took a bit longer than usual. At this stage, it shouldn't mess up any cycle anymore, not unless we unload this chunk anyway. Right, so what I was saying, oh, yes, so now this vault is a bit in an awkward position. I like the transition I did in here, but with the cobblestone on the other side, I need a way to move the items to the other parts of the mine. I can't remove more than 2 rows of vaults on this side. The funnel needs to be right here because this is the fastest way to output materials from a PSI, there needs to be an extended funnel in front of a funnel. But if I extend the vault by a couple of blocks, it's going to ruin the transition a little bit. It will also leave a belt in the middle anyway, which I will have to jump over or something. If I leave it as is, and extend a belt from here, I still need to jump over it to reach the cobble gen. I like this transition, I don't want to remove it entirely. But then if I remove this vault, or place a much smaller one just to keep the output rates as they are now, I still need to move the cobble to the rest of the mines. The first section should go in here, so I will need a curve or something like that. I'm not too sure about it. I might be overthinking this. Oh. That's it. I can just have a chute somewhere along here. Then I can extend the belt underneath instead. Yeah, that retains the stairs I have now, and I can probably just put a trapdoor or something to cover the belt. Yes, I like this idea better. I can place glass along this way, and just cover the belt underground. I think that should work much better. Alright, I made up my mind, that's how I'm gonna start the layout. Guess who got their first sponsor? Well, it wasn't me, but by the time this video is uploaded, I will be launching my own Ko-fi page. It does offer many more features than Patreon, so I will be transitioning into Ko-fi as the weeks go on. That doesn't mean that I will be closing my Patreon page or anything like that. But, I will be removing my Patreon links from the videos, and I'm simply keeping the services active as people move to the new one instead. Ideally, in a couple of months, most people will change to Ko-fi, and new supporters will be subscribing there instead. As for the content, I will be releasing weekly updates on the things I'm working on, as well as behind the scenes and sneak peeks of the videos I'm making. As always, the tier 2 fangs and above will have access to my private SMP, and there is a high chance of opening more servers in the future, so stay tuned for that. All the links will be in the description, so if you want to support the channel, go check them out. Now back to the video. First things first, let me explain what exactly I'm going to be building in here, because things are about to get complicated. Ultimately, I want to be producing all the 𝐋𝐢𝐧𝐤𝐬 stones. All of them can also be crushed down to their respective ores, and some very nice side products. But how do we get here, I hear you asking? Well, we can't, not with base 𝐋𝐢𝐧𝐤𝐬. Thankfully, I have a data pack in the server that makes the 𝐋𝐢𝐧𝐤𝐬 ores become renewable, and it all starts as usual, with the good old cobblestone. From there we crush the cobble to make gravel, and we crush said gravel to make sand. We going to need the sand to produce both quartz and soul sand, with the latter being used to make scoria. At this point we can use the cobblestone again, in combination with the quartz, to produce some diorite. Diorite is used with more quartz to produce granite, and also combined with more cobblestone to make the andesite. So far we managed to automate the base vanilla stone, which we later going to use for the 𝐋𝐢𝐧𝐤𝐬 ones, but before that, we need the other component, the tuff. Which funnily enough, it also starts with the good old cobblestone, of course it does. We take cobble and combine it with lava to make deep slate, but that's regular deep slate and not cobbled deep slate. So we will have to crush it down to cobbled, and we also going to use more lava for it. Remember at the beginning that soul sand was making both scoria and quartz? Here is where we going to use the scoria, as the last ingredient to make the tuff. Now there is only one material missing, which is the easiest one of them all, the limestone. We simply need a cobble generator with honey instead of water, and that will produce the limestone for us. The only thing missing now is to combine all of those with tuff. So each of the base vanilla stones in conjunction with tuff, and more lava, will be producing their respective 𝐋𝐢𝐧𝐤𝐬 stones. Very easy and simple to understand, is it not? I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong with it. I tell you what, I have a massive headache, everything went wrong, and my head is stuck in the ceiling. Which, to be fair, my head being inside the stone could explain why I have a headache. On a side note, you might be wondering why everything looks so different. Why are there no shaders, and what happened to all my levels? Well, if it looks like I'm in a different instance, it's because I'm actually in a different instance. Because I'm in Forge, and there is no official version of the replay mod for this version of Forge, means that in order to make time-lapses and cinematics I use a very wacky and badly supported port of the original mod. I think it's not even available anymore, and it barely works. So much so that it doesn't even work on the server, which means I generally export the server into a single-player world, and I record the time-lapse there instead. This means that I later on need to export the chunks back into the server and all. It's a whole deal, let's just put it that way. At this point you might be wondering, why are we here? Well, I was building all of the initial steps, at least to the point of farming the base vanilla stone. For some reason today I found myself incredibly irritable with the game, which never happens to me. I mean, I might get annoyed at Minecraft, but never about Create. I got so annoyed figuring out the logistics of it that I couldn't record the replay for any longer. I thought I would just do half and half, but then I deleted the replay by mistake. I'm not even joking, I left the game to save the replay, and while I was thinking about saving the replay I clicked on the X instead, and deleted it. I'm so annoyed at myself and the game right now that I honestly cannot go through the trouble of moving the chunks back to the server and doing it properly right now. By the time this video comes out I will be in a convention for the week, and the last Friday one, which is tomorrow for me, it's when I will be having my birthday stream, and I still need to do some planning for that. I need to pack things up for the convention and all of the things. I even need to edit this entire video too, and only have the weekend to do that. In short, I'ma be showing you all what I have done so far, and I will be continuing with the mines after I'm back from the convention. It will be a less cool way to finish the video, but I rather show you what I have, than not make the video at all. Not sure if it's just the nerves of the convention and everything that is going on, but hopefully by the time I'm back, I will be more calm to continue this project properly. Anyway, that's enough rambling, let's see what I was able to do thus far. Raging aside, I think I made a decent amount of progress. Each section isn't massive, but I wasn't aiming for super high production rates anyway. It's just a nice thing to have on the side to slowly be producing building blocks. This first section I do like a little bit. It very much works at the speed of one single stack at a time, but with a gap of one single block between the sections, it does achieve a decently compact design. You can see how it works with just a couple fans, so it's not particularly quick. The next section is what caused me to get irritated. I genuinely hate everything about this portion of the mines. Which is weird because I generally like what I end up doing, but not this time, it's just so bad. This portion it's even slower, which I genuinely don't mind. It's a single mixer, so it crafts a single block at a time. These are meant to be for building purposes, so a block a second is generally way more than enough. As I said during the explanation, it all starts with the cobble generator. I ended up moving the belts underground, and I honestly love how it ended up, really pleased with this part. It goes forward for the first stages, and also to the right for the later crafts. The first step being the cobble into gravel, as usual with the crushing wheels. Then we have the gravel into sand, with more crushing wheels. The sand I am storing it, everything else I'm skipping for now. I might want to keep some of the gravel, but we will see. Then the sand moves into the depot, to be converted into solzan. Said solzan moves down here into the chute to get split by the tunnel. I did it this way because I wanted to split the solzan evenly between the two sections. One of them being converted into scoria, which is currently disabled. And the second one is washing the solzan to get some quartz out of it. Which also has a lever in case we want to disable this portion too. Speaking of disabling, I actually went for a very simple way of managing the logistics. I basically used the Factorio way. Instead of having stockpiles that disable the sections, I'm simply letting the belts get filled up so the machines have no other option but to go offline by lack of space. This vault, for example, is completely filled with sand. This is causing the belt to be completely full, because none of this can go in. Which means that things get stuck between the crushers until there is room for them in the belt. Every once in a while there is more room, but then the gravel gets converted into more sand and gets stuck again. This crusher being full means that the chute is full too. Which also means that the previous belt is full too. And that means that the first crushing wheels can't place their items either. If we wait long enough, this gravel should eventually go down, and cobble will appear. There it is, but not for long because the new gravel will get stuck anyway. This is pretty much the way I'm handling the rates, which means I barely need to set up redstone for this section, but also means that the previous steps need to always produce more than the later stages. And everything is always running, and that also means it's always consuming stress units even when it's not producing, which is not ideal. But I think it's fine, it's compact and produces enough. The same thing happens here, because the sand belt is full, which means that everything before that is locked. If the soul sand vault were full, then everything before that would be locked. The same goes for everything else. It basically tries to fill up the latest step possible, and it will be backlogging from there. Now for the nightmare area. I hate it here, this is so bad. But basically, first, it's taking the quartz from the nearest vault, while leaving the gold side product behind, not sure what I will do about that one. And moves it into this other vault, which I used mainly to distribute the quartz into 2 different lines. I had to use this to prevent the shafts from the belts getting all messed up, but the speed of the hoppers is more than enough for a single basin anyway. The middle basin is taking the quartz, with the cobblestone that we are bringing from the first area, which is being split here for the 2 different steps that need it. The first one is to combine it with the quartz to make diorite with it. The second one combines the diorite with more cobble to make andesite. This part is also pretty bad, because I tried using a chute, you can see it down here. It has a filter to extract only the diorite, but it wouldn't work. So instead, I placed a chute under the belt in the wackiest way possible. If I don't lock this funnel, all of the diorite goes into the vault, so it's not the worst system. The chute moves the diorite into this belt, which then moves it down into a vault. And from there, it gets split into 2, one to make the granite, and the other to make the andesite. Because the main ingredient is the diorite, it means that everything will work dependent on the speed of this basin. Basically, only one of these basins will work at a given time, because only one diorite is made every second. Which is not bad anyway. I have nearly 2,000 granite in here, and this is meant to be used as building blocks. I'm not really going to be building with them that much, or making something that big. But, this is pretty much the mess I made of it. I hate it, it's horrible, I want to TNT it all. Next time I will be removing these walls and placing the rest of the steps in them, which shouldn't be hard. Can't be any more annoying than what I've done here. I hope this episode made you laugh, even if it was more of a weird one. As I said before, I will be spending the week at a convention, so I will try to plan a video for the weekend. If not, it will be released on Tuesday 12 or so. Actually maybe not, I have a medical appointment that day, so probably Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching, take care everyone, and I will see you all in the next one.